Hey guys, it's Vauban. Looking over his strategic battlefield here at the moment. And we're here to talk about builds. Very appropriate to the space setting. We're going to use an orbital laser. And we'll see with the build in a second. Usually the last thing we talk about, but hey, let's do it in new order once. Archon shards for Vauban. Energy max is very important to what we're doing here. I'd also call casting speed kind of highly recommended. Strength, we're just trying to keep over 100 while running some an overextended mod there. We've got a little bit of a duration. Again, that's got to do with running corrupted mods. I believe it's actually a leftover and this is a flex slot. If you were going to run something for this to maybe, I'd either boost up the energy a bit more, which you'll note I'll explain in a minute, or run some more energy efficiency things like the orb pickups with the purple shard, depending on your budget of Archon shards. If you don't have enough Archon shards to consider all this, then don't worry, almost none of them are actually necessary, they're just helpful. Catch you over at the arsenal. Alright, so here's a Vauban Prime. It all works on regular Vauban, as usual. This is actually what I would call your generic everyday, you'll probably see it all the time, Vauban build, except for maybe repelling Bastille. This is the one that defends things, either by pushing them out with Bastille, or by yanking them all into a vortex and helmeting Spectrosiphon to drop energy orbs. Search Vauban Spectrosiphon, I'm sure you'll find the 50 copies of this build where you can just pop this on here. It's not complicated. You hold 4 to throw a vortex, you cast 3 around the vortex. If you're really bored, you cast 2 to put a turret next to it instead of attacking it. Our build is going to be over here. So this is the Vauban, we'll put quotes around it, but we'll call it the Vauban nuke build. Not often seen. There are reasons for that. Starting off, we got some basics. Initial armor strip, our Bastille also has an armor strip, which we'll cover in a minute. You can see lots of range in here, and intensify, flow. You're probably, depending on how long you played Warframe, asking about something right now, and we'll get there in a second. Energize, augmented, nothing out of the box here. You don't have Energize, go with Arcane Steadfast. There's even an argument being made that Arcane Steadfast would work better for this build because of this mod, Quick Thinking. So you notice, no health, no armor, no shields. Our energy is our health. 716, although that's technically a lie because 240% efficiency. There's over a 50% DR barrier on there. That does apply after our shield gate, so we will get the benefit of Augur Reach, refreshing our shields as well before that applies. Also, most of the enemies outside of an Xmas stronghold aren't going to be attacking us at all. Archon stretch. This normally does not work in terms of that second part particularly well at anything, because 2 energy a second over 5 seconds is 10 energy. Most abilities deal 1 hit of electric and stop. They won't refund themselves, never mind further. Vauban's little balls here, though, roll around and continuously apply electric and can stay around for minutes at a time until they're depending how much they get depleted, giving you a passive energy regeneration, very similar to having a Styanax following you around. Vauban's passive, 25 extra damage to incapacitated enemies. Incapacitated enemies means they're being shocked, they're being tethered, or they're being held in a Bastille or Vortex. It does not count any other crowd control in the game, contrary to occasional rumors. The cool thing about this is, you know how Rhino's roar, people always mention that applies to damage over time and things? This is the same damage boost. The same boost is also on his Overdriver, although that one's much harder to actively use. He throws down a thing that he picks up and gets a short period of that boosted damage as well. But if you really want to push him, particularly if you're using a damage over time build, that will do it. Photon repeater. If the photon strike, that's the third one that shoots the orbital laser, as you can see in the video there, hits 5 or more enemies, it is free and it shoots a second strike. There's a little bit of inconsistency with this because, as I discussed in my gathering video, crowd control abilities like to just have enemies not be affected, and then they don't get the 5 and it doesn't do it. The second strike I've also seen go off even while throwing it at absolutely nothing, so I think there's a little bit of a bug going on there. Tesla Blank is just an occasional raw damage booster. If you kill the enemy that's got the electric balls on him, they will burst out and explode for a relatively large amount of damage based on the enemy's hit points. It is electric damage, so very reliant on stripping armor. But yeah, it's basically the thing that the balls are on goes off like acid shells. If you've seen that lately. Sorry there. Quick thinking, kind of discussed, turns your energy into another health pool that inherently has that much DR. There's another version of this. It's one of the Gladiator mods you can actually add to stack that DR up even higher. That one didn't really fit in the build. I thought about it. Prime Flow, of course, is more energy, which is a no-brainer with the quick thinking. Over here, we've got... Yeah, I'll get to it. Actually, he's pretty key. This is Emulator. Because he looks like an emu. He's emulating an emu. Yes, I have the humor of a small child. Emu is a... Somewhere here will tell me. Yeah. He's a Nikis Moa from Fortuna. You build them at the guy called Legs. Who does not have legs. He loses his legs as part of Fortuna. Big thing with this is we've got a lot of usual stuff. Some stuff that's just kind of there because it's there. Tenacious Bond is giving us a lot of bonus crit damage. Reinforced Bond is the one that really tricky to get to apply sometimes, but very easy with this particular companion. When he does Blast Shield, he just jumps at enemies and gives himself 3,000 overshields, constantly rebuilding this bond. And reloading your gun will also add shields to him. So as long as he's alive, he will pretty much continuously have that fire rate mod. Verglass is pretty much not what's supposed to be on there. 1 second. My stuff's reset itself. I believe it's this one. Yeah, should be that, the Volcax. I have no idea how I got flipped to being the Verglass. Right, for some guns. You know me, I like to use slightly weird guns, sometimes themed to the Warframe. For Vauban, we've got this little tech laser. This is called the Convectrix, and I'll explain it a little more in the simulacrum, but there's a build for now. These are just kind of here. This is the build for an Archititron. That one's replacing what would normally be a heat mod, I believe, if you don't have a ribbon. This one here is replacing what would normally be Vigilante Armaments or Prime Shred. Or not Prime Shred on a shotgun. What the hell is that one called? Seeking something. Fury, I believe. Yeah, that one. Okay, so we're going to hop over to the simulacrum now so you can actually see how some of this stuff works. Alright, here we are in everyone's favorite generic test room, the simulacrum. We got a Grineer Battle Group here. Grineer usually being our benchmarks, just because they're the hardest ones. Don't interrupt my testing here, or I'll put you back in the box. You can see up at the top we've got the critical damage boost. If we reload a couple of times, we'll get the other boost for fire rate. You can see it burpy jumps at the enemies. Hang on. I have to actually shoot something with my command. Oh, there it counted. Now we have 60% fire rate boost. Hopefully he doesn't immediately kill everything, but... so, Convectrix. The hammer's pretty self-explanatory. You, do this. You can snack things a little bit, too, if you want to trigger a Tenokai for a better one. And the Archetytron's passive that stores energy for the slam. I'm not making an Archetytron video specifically here, it's just what fits. Convectrix. Shoots at 2 lasers like this. If you have that efficient beams mod, it will not spend ammo until it actually hits something. This is a shotgun, which does mean you're supposed to basically be up on something like this, which will also minimize the downtime of the lasers. Stop causing a ruckus. This thing, as you'll see in a second, if these things manage to live, inflicts status like a truck. And it's almost entirely slash, minus whatever you put on it. It is not uncommon to see a reasonably tough enemy go up to 300 slash procs and then die immediately. You can also do this, which cuts back and forth like scissors. It's certainly an option. I think I wanted to try this with a Mirage build sometime for giggles, but it's not how I would normally use the weapon. Anyways, first thing you do with Vauban, throw down his balls. Easy to remember, you go into a mission, you immediately drop your balls. Your balls will go over and start harassing things, which will also tell you where the enemies are. So yeah, there goes that level 195 Lancer, and what you saw with them all dying was the Tesla augment going off. Vauban, covering my other videos. This is a pole you might sometimes use if you really want. This one's a turret. Important note, both the turret and Vauban's orbital laser have a scaling factor based on the enemy level. That means they're almost, but not quite. And steel path modifiers also mess around with it. Equally effective against level 30, level 200, level 300, so on and so forth. The other mines, there's a speed vector pad. That gives you a short speed boost and has no actual practical use that I've found. You can try and use it to keep a defense operative in a room, but they like to lag orbit anyways. This one is just you or a teammate picks it up and gets a moderate damage boost. Often too hard to micromanage to really be useful. Now, we're going to respawn things. We're going to turn them to steel path. And not throw the electric ball out for a minute. So we can show some other things. So this is a photon repeater. Hang on, they won't die over here. This is a photon repeater. Those were level 195 steel paths. The only one who survived was this guy, who you can see was actually ignored by the targeting. He only got hit by the knockback effect. Or actually, he does have a little sliver. So yeah. They are changing armor. They probably will not be this resistant. Even to start with. Because they're getting capped at 90, and I believe this guy is like 98.7 DR or something. So what you generally want to do is you throw down your Bastille in about 1 moment. You can see his armor just bleeds out there. You don't actually need the armor to bleed out completely. You can like go about halfway. The Bastille will turn into a vortex. You might think that doing this is a real smart idea with the photon repeater. One, the vortex doesn't strip armor. Two, the vortex often causes the photon repeater to not count them properly and not fire its second strike, as you can see there. It only fired one, despite there very obviously being 6 people in this, not 5. For the most part, you're actually going to want to throw that and that. Didn't let their armor drip quite enough, but... So yeah, that covers the basics. When you have, again, when you let it play at full strength with the balls out. This video gets demonetized. It's probably my fault. But yeah. Suspend your guys. The more and more your multi-augmented big builds up, the faster they will actually drain out. Definitely once they're red, you should be able to actually insta-kill them all with the photon. Suspend another group over here. That will remove the Bastille in the other area, so don't rely on that to be like holding down the defense console or anything. Not sure a ball took someone away there. The balls also occasionally cause the thing where the photon misses, but much less consistently. In that case, you can see the electric ball was actually stopping his armor from being drained. That's going to be your biggest problem with this build. Fucking crowd control effects blocking other effects. Anyways, we've got some Steel Path gameplay coming up for you shortly after, but I'm not, if you're this far, I'm going to pop in here and say, if you lasted this far and enjoyed the guide, drop the like, the subscribe, all that fun stuff. Keep up to date for new ones. Atlas Guide's going to come out in June sometime. I haven't actually gotten a voting mechanism set up for the next one. I believe we're still trying to get Excalibur, Nyx, or Banshee in, but people keep asking for other stuff. Anyways, the Steel Path that's coming up does not have commentary because I've had some medical issues this week and I wasn't able to really hold out long enough to record commentary. So it's a Steel Path interception alert. Very good mission to show Vauban off on. It is no commentary. It's also in a group, but let's be real. Warframe is played in groups. The whole solo Steel Path stuff is a novelty. If there's a real outcry and you want me to record a solo one, sure, hit me up in the comments and I'll get around to it. That's all. Hope you're having a good weekend, and we will catch you in the next one.
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
This tower is ours now. We are in total control. Keep fighting. have decoded the message. The remaining enemies must not report back to their command. Eliminate everyone. They are broadcasting another message. Make sure the enemy never receives it. Tower online. We have control of all 4 towers. We have lost control of a tower. We are dominating. Keep it up. Message decoded. Leave none alive. Clear out the remaining enemy forces.